I want to talk to you today about weddings and about marriage preparation. I want to speak about the options that our church has available to couples as they consider their weddings, and speak also about the ideal and the why behind what the church proposes. You might think to yourselves just sitting here, well, I'm already married, right? But what about your children? What about grandchildren? And other people that God will put in your path, that if you know this about our faith, then you'll be able to assist them. I love presiding at weddings. I'm aware that not all priests or deacons like presiding at weddings, sometimes due to such factors as the well-intentioned but forever interfering influence of the mother of the bride. Or sometimes due to the secularization of weddings that we're seeing today, meaning an overemphasis on the ceremony and the location, the venue, and a de-emphasis on the sacredness of the wedding and the sacredness of married life. Nevertheless, I've always enjoyed weddings, primarily because of what we believe about the sacrament of holy matrimony. That the marriage between a man and a woman is an occasion for something truly divine. When God joins the two human lives together into his one divine life and sets them on a course that gives them the sacramental grace to help them help each other get into heaven through Jesus Christ. That being said, I've noticed some trends, I'm sure you have too, in our ever increasingly secular society in regards to weddings. Now, I just want to cover one today, what has come to be known as destination weddings. Having weddings on a mountain, a beach, in a park or a backyard, in a barn, that's really popular right now, or a pretty little non-denominational church, or in the same banquet hall or hotel as a reception for a matter of convenience. Here's my first question. Why can't Catholics have destination weddings? Is the question I sometimes hear as a parish priest from an engaged couple or from their parents or grandparents. The immediate response, the answer to this, is Catholics can have destination weddings. I know this is not the ideal, and I'm going to get to the ideal, but just bear with me. The couple simply needs to meet with the parish priest or deacon here at St. Francis or another parish near where they live and where they attend and worship, who would then ask the bishop to grant them what is called a dispensation from the Catholic form of marriage. Now, often this takes place, for instance, when a Catholic is marrying a non-Catholic, but there are other occasions for this dispensation too. Then they can be married on the beach, in another Christian church, or in a park, or a barn by a Protestant minister, or a civil official, or even a friend who obtained a state license to perform a wedding ceremony. In such cases, the couple would not have a priest or deacon to preside at the ceremony. In fact, a priest or deacon cannot preside at that ceremony since the local bishop dispensed away the Catholic way of the wedding. Nevertheless, their marriage would be recognized by the Catholic Church because they've asked for this, which is so important to us as Catholics and our families. And I want to develop that a little bit more in a few minutes. Additionally, one of the really beautiful things I've experienced in these cases is when an engaged couple, for whatever reasons, decides to have their wedding in a place other than a Catholic church. Maybe it's just because of the influences of culture and they're seeing destination weddings on TV and with their friends, or whatever the reasons are. But then they come and visit with me, and through discussions with me, they also learn that they can have a very small, private Catholic ceremony with just a few of their family members present and maybe a couple close friends. a week or two ahead of the outdoor or destination wedding, or even the morning of. In this case, they don't need the dispensation from the bishop because they're celebrating the sacrament. They want both, the Catholic ceremony and their desired wedding ceremony at another location. As priests, we can help couples experience both. I've learned as a parish priest, the Catholic Church, in its canon laws and its pastoral ministry, offers couples options while faithfully supporting a couple in the pursuit of the sacred exchange of the sacrament of holy matrimony. In cases where a Catholic desires to be married in a place other than a Catholic church setting, as well as when they want to be married in a Catholic church setting, like a church, a sanctuary, in both cases, the engaged couple should seek out the best marriage preparation possible. See, I think as Catholics, we're under the assumption that if the Catholic party, for whatever reason, a couple decides that they're not going to get married in the Catholic Church, then they can't get good marriage preparation from their own parish. And the reality is they can and should. Here's why. It is assumed, for instance, that the couple wants to be in a lifelong union of love. So why would they even think about foregoing good, solid, helpful marriage preparation that can positively impact their marriage and their future family for the rest of their lives? The Catholic Church, I don't know if you know this, has dramatically transformed its marriage preparation for engaged couples in recent years. In fact, recent studies have clearly shown that in Catholic parishes where faith-filled married couples mentor engaged couples along with the use of an objective, scientifically founded, and biblically based premarital inventory, these parishes have more than cut in half the national divorce rate of the engaged couples that they have prepared for marriage. And here I'm not talking about the old model, which used to be called pre-Cana. Furthermore, when these same parishes introduce their engaged couples to a vision of marriage and a family lifestyle in sync with the church's biblical teachings called the theology of the body, studies show us that the divorce rate for these couples is, follow this, 2 to 4%. Or, said in another way, the likelihood that they will remain happy, healthy, and holy and married for the rest of their lives is between 96 to 98%. There simply is no other marriage preparation on the face of the earth with these stats. Thanks be to God, for about 3 years now, St. Francis de Sales Parish follows this new model of marriage preparation. The essence of it is the one-on-one pairing of an engaged couple with a trained married mentor couple. We have 16 of them here, mentor couples. And then using an inventory that we use, which is called Fully Engaged. This marriage preparation isn't just about preparing a couple for married life from a religious perspective or for spiritual advantages. It is this and so much more. Psychologists and clinical counselors, sociologists and social scientists, priests and married deacons, biblical scholars, financial advisors, marriage and family life counselors, and life coaches all have a hand in on producing this marriage preparation, which has been produced by a diocese in the United States, the Marriage and Family Life Office of the Diocese of St. Cloud in Minnesota. This marriage preparation covers just about everything an engaged couple would want and need to live a fulfilling and purposeful lifelong union of love, and to do so successfully and faithfully, even as they, as married couples and families, go through the regular ups and downs of human living in this society. And here's something. It's free. It's free, right? I mean, I've met couples, and I don't know if you've seen couples do this, and they tend to be the more conscientious couples, who, before they get married, they go to a marriage counselor to get premarital counseling. And they spend hundreds of dollars for each one of the sessions. Well, this is free, and it not only offers that, but it offers so much more. Our engaged couples truly enjoy their time with their married mentor couples and come back highly recommending this new way of marriage prep to many of their family and their friends. Now, perhaps not knowing these facts or simply not understanding and appreciating either the sacrament of holy matrimony, because that's not where the couple is at the time that they propose marriage for one another, or not knowing about the new model of marriage prep available in many Catholic parishes. Not all, but it's growing. I know there are some Catholics who still choose a wedding destination other than a Catholic church, and don't seek out good marriage prep, and don't request a dispensation to be married outside of the Catholic Church, so their marriage can also be a sacrament. What to do if this is you, or someone you know and love, who, unless this is somehow remedied after the wedding, then the couple cannot receive Holy Communion when they come to Mass because their marriage is not yet also the sacrament of holy matrimony. Well, the good news is there's remedies, and they're not complicated. I have often had the pleasure to assist couples in these situations after their wedding, when they have maybe later grown in appreciation of their Catholic faith and desired to make their civil marriage into the sacrament of holy matrimony. Or when at some point down the road they have found their marriage in trouble, maybe even struggling in the threat of divorce, and they visit with me first for pastoral counseling, and then sometimes I bring in a clinical counselor to help. And along the way, then they want their marriage blessed. And I can speak to them about making their marriage into a sacrament of holy matrimony. It's a beautiful conversion story. And I've been a part of many of those stories. Whatever the case may be, with the help of the local bishop and priest, I have noticed that our Catholic Church offers every possible recourse to help couples not only obtain the sacrament of holy matrimony, but live out their marriage and their family life as God intended. And help, along the way, couples grow closer to God and one another throughout the course of their lifelong union of love. All that being said, I think another question, a second question, needs to be asked. Why does our Catholic faith so highly emphasize marriage in a Catholic Church setting, like in a church, even in the face of an ever-growing secular age when couples are drawn to weddings in other locations? Why not just cave to that and go that way? Sacred. I think there are many words, but one of the words is sacred. I think the answer boils down to this word and this reality: sacred. The marriage between a man and a woman is a sacred event. It is unlike any other event in our human life. The most sacred experience we can have in this life is God. In fact, only God is sacred. Nothing is sacred without God. Let me repeat that again. Nothing is sacred without God. In the sacrament of holy matrimony, the couple approaches our sacred God and asks God to make their union sacred. For only God can make a marriage sacred and make it then, therefore, into an instrument to serve God's purposes, to accomplish God's will for married life in general, and for the couple in particular, which is to help the man bring his wife to the Lord throughout the course of his life, and to help the woman bring her husband to the Lord throughout the course of her life. to help both the man and the woman spend their lives preparing their beloved spouse for the life of heaven, which is the purpose, the meaning of marriage. Therefore, for close to 2,000 years now, our Catholic Church has been conducting this most sacred event of the exchange of the sacrament of holy matrimony in the most sacred of places on this earth, before the presence of the sacred God himself, dwelling among us in the Eucharist. There is not another place on earth more sacred than in a Catholic Church, precisely because of the Eucharist. This is also why, if possible, the wedding ceremony should include the liturgy of the Eucharist. So at least the Catholic, whether this be the bride or the groom or both, can receive God on his and or her most sacred of days. So they are not only joined to another person for a lifetime on their wedding day, they are joined to their spouses through Holy Communion with God. In fact, here's a little known fact. Even if a couple who chooses to get married in a Catholic church and chooses to have a wedding ceremony without the celebration of the liturgy of the Eucharist, they, or him or her, can receive the Eucharist during their ceremony, even though many of their guests are not Catholic. Sacred. Even the church building of a Catholic church speaks of the sacredness and reminds us of the sacredness of the sacrament of holy matrimony. A sanctuary, altar, an ambo, chalice, and stained glass windows, stations of the cross, tabernacle, votive candles, and icons, the priest and the deacon, the vestments, all of them remind the couple, each time they look at their wedding photos, or each time they step into the church that they were married in, or each time they step into any Catholic church, like where they're worshiping, it should remind them of the sacredness of their wedding day and the sacredness of married life. In today's gospel reading from Mark 4, Jesus says to the crowds, "This is how it is with the kingdom of God. It is as if a man were to scatter seed on the land, and would sleep and rise night and day, and through it all the seed would sprout and grow. He knows not how. Of its own accord the land yields fruit, first the blade, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. And when the grain is ripe, he wields the sickle at once, for the harvest has come." As we all know, a seed is the beginning of a new life. As relates to the beginning of the married life, it makes good sense for an engaged couple to allow God to seed their married life with good marriage preparation before their wedding, and to ensure the wedding, no matter the location, is seeded with the sacrament of holy matrimony. When seeded by God in these ways, the marriage is capable of sprouting and growing and bearing fruit and a rich harvest, which is what every married couple desires and deserves. That's the reason we have implemented a totally new model for marriage preparation here at St. Francis. No matter if you intend to be married here at St. Francis or another parish or a destination wedding location, you have the right to good marriage preparation and to the sacrament of holy matrimony. And if not you, your children or your grandchildren. And you deserve it, as does your future family. One of our 16 married mentor couples and our entire marriage ministry team is here to walk with you toward your wedding and married life. Likewise, if you are already married, but for whatever reasons you have never exchanged the sacrament of holy matrimony, and you would like to do so, we are here to help you. You might be thinking to yourself, well, this doesn't really apply to me because I'm already married, right? Well, or you might be thinking to yourself, this might such and such person in my family or among my friends really needs to hear all of this. Great. We're live streaming this Mass right now. And after each one of these live stream Masses, they're recorded, and you can just simply point them to our YouTube page, St. Francis de Sales, Newark. Point them to it or point it to them, send them the URL, and they can see this. You might also have gone through the pains of divorce and not know what to do with that. And I'm going to do that as a homily at another time because it's deserving of a whole nother homily, that whole ministry that's there, of bereavement, of ministering to persons who have gone through the pains of divorce, of annulments and remarriage and all of that. We'll do that at another time. God loves us. God wants the best for us. We want the best for ourselves and our loved ones. We are blessed as Catholic Christians that when we feel called by God to be married and create a family, we have access to all the best that God has to offer us. And we are blessed here at St. Francis de Sales that the best possible marriage preparation is available to an engaged couple who wants it. I pray you want the best for you, for your future spouse, and for your family that you will create and raise together as a husband and wife. You deserve it. Your spouse deserves it. Your children deserve it. And our world deserves it.